Hello, everybody. This is the Edge of Eternity, Bill Cameron, and that's me, Bill Cameron. I had my specs on because of the type of work I'm doing here today. I'm sitting in my little lab, which is now my office, and but I've converted it into a lab temporarily for this project. It seems like a lot of people I know who are super talented people shy away from doing electrical stuff, or they just don't do it, or they don't like to do it. It's a pain in the neck, and it is a lot of times a pain in the neck. But I wanted to do this little project here. I'm doing a collaboration with Bryce on his car named Morticia. Make sure you go and check out Bryce's channel if you haven't, because it's an awesome channel, and you can see Morticia and some of the other projects that he's got going over at Ice Spider Garage. So I asked him if I could take his lights that he's using on Morticia and set up the wiring, just to take a load off of his hands, because he's got a lot going on there, and I'm retired. Why not? We help each other out here in this YouTube automotive group of people that we have here, greatest group of people on YouTube. So I wanted to tell you about it and walk you through the different steps. Now tonight will be an introduction. I'll show you generally what is a skull headlight. It's an LED light. I'll demonstrate it for you. And all the different materials that go into setting up, I'll call it a relay / fuse box for this system. I'm going to be using a lot of different components. Some of the things that I'm using, and I'll show you this under power, but there'll be a series of toggle switches like this that will go on, and they're clearly marked as fuel, headlights, halo light, all the different components. I'm putting in a circuit for Bryce's electric fuel pump in case he wants to add that as just a part of this switch panel. So we'll be going over that. And then I've got this mounting plate for the switches, okay? It holds 7 positions. And on the back of this, I've got a couple of the switches here snapped in. You see the halo lights and the, I think it says headlights, but I can't read it backwards on my screen. Halo lights and driving lights. And they simply, like the one I showed, toggle on and off. Okay, very simple. So he'll have this panel in front of him on the dash at some position, and he'll be able to click, click, click. Now on the back of these is where it gets a little bit more interesting. You see all these jumpers and, ground-related circuit and your power-related circuit. One is like a power in, one is going to go out to the specific load or headlight or whatever it is that you're trying to power. And I'm going to set up a 6 fuse box, and I'm going to have it also set up with a 7th circuit for a USB and USB-C charger. So he'll have all this stuff in one place, click, 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 right on, turn signals, all that stuff. So that'll all be on here. I'm using all new components for this project. You'll see me doing some crimping and some soldering, and just try to do a really nice clean job here for Bryce. So the headlight itself, this is what the skull headlight looks like, okay? I'm gonna put some power to it here, and I'm just going to face it away a little bit because it is bright. So just using my fingers here to hold this together. But that's the low beam, okay? That's the low beam. And then this is your high beam, okay? So it'll be a flick of the switch, up or down, high or low, and he'll be able to control his headlights that way. Now, some of the other functions in this, it has a halo light. Now, these aren't marked, but here you go. This is the halo light, okay? We have this white halo light, and then we have an auburn-colored halo light, which is kind of cool. And then the skull in the middle is the fun part, and there's all kinds of colors and ways you can portray the light. So right now here, we'll turn this on. The skull is green. Turn that off, turn it back on. Come on here, fella. The skull is blue. Turn it off, turn it back on. It's hard to do this with one hand under here. You can make it flash, flash different colors and things like that. Come on, baby. But there you go. So all these different features on these lights will be controlled through the switch panel. I'm also putting in a circuit for his tail lights. I'm not sure how the tail light situation is set up right now, or if they're connected at all. So I'm going to put a circuit in for that. And then if Bryce wanted to run wire to the back of that switch on the panel, then he can do that. When you look at these fuse boxes and things like that, you see all these wires coming in and going out, and they're very intimidating. But you just have to take your time and, follow a schematic. You have to have a schematic. You have to have something that you can work with. However, I ended up just making my own schematic for this project. I'll show you here. It's going to be really hard. I also have it on my computer screen over there, but it's really hard to display that unless I do a screen dump and maybe put it in here. But this is my easy to read schematic. It shows the relays that I'm using. It shows the wiring. Hang on a minute. This is one of them. Okay, and here's kind of a picture. I do it kind of graphically instead of just black and white lines on a paper, dotted and boxed and checkered boxes and all the different stuff. I like to keep it simple. So I'm putting on here the relays I'm going to use, the fuses I'm using that'll be in line. I am calling out the wire gauges and everything on here, the switches, what they do. You can see over here on this side, and kind of a little bit of information on the other side for the lighting. So anyways, I have that, and then I also have this. I bought this schematic. This schematic is for 1950 series, throughout the 1950s wiring. Okay, you could rewire Bryce's Wayfarer back to stock using this. It's pretty complete, and if you have just a little bit of know-how with this stuff, you could build all new harnesses throughout the vehicle. That's not necessary, but it's a good reference if I'm not sure of something. Now, another thing is, I mentioned using relays. I believe in relays where they're actually needed. Now, I've got a bunch of notes on here, so kind of excuse that, please. But here you can see I'll be coming off of the battery here, okay? And I'll be going out through a 15 amp fuse to each one of the relays, okay? Then I'll come down here and tie into the relays, and then I'll run power out to the front of the vehicle. And these switches will be controlled through the switch panel, but they're going to be fed off of the same line, okay? So I don't need to have 6 different relays in this panel to have everything protected well. And then, of course, each circuit in the car will have its own fuse also that'll be sized properly for the fuse, the application it's running. So here's where I was going to say I've got 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 12 gauge, 12 gauge, and I've got some other notes that I'm using some 14 gauge wire for. I've got also some 8 gauge wire, okay, both for the positive and negative, and I will run this out to the battery post and then back to the input on the fuse block, which is right here, okay? So you can see on this, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different circuits you can run. This is all the positive. The positive will hook down here. And then you've got 6 corresponding negative terminals up here at the top. And then your negative will come here directly from the battery. So that'll be all set up like that. It's got a cover that goes on it, and then I'll be able to, on these little clear windows here, I'll be able to put a sticker on for what each particular circuit, what fuse, what part of this is going to what circuit, and I'm going to wire and tag all of the different circuits so it's easy, for someone down the road, for Bryce or anybody that needs to look at it, will be able to identify, okay, that's going to the headlights, That's going to the, that's for the halo, that's for this, and that's for that type of thing. So another thing I mentioned, going right to the battery with those cables. So this is a pet peeve of mine, and a lot of people do it. I'm not being critical of it. It's just, a pet peeve, something I don't like to do. And I see people all the time, just slipping their battery cable on, slipping it off, slipping it on, slipping it off, not really tightening it down properly. In the long run, that'll come back to ruin your day at some point. So I got these really nice, guess you'd call them lugs, or for the go on the lugs for the battery. And what I like about it is, if you're really into taking your thing, your battery cables on and off, your battery cable goes right in here, okay, on the back side here. And then this lever locks down, and now you're on there tight. You want to take it off? By all means. Just don't run your car with it loose, okay? Nothing's going to happen, I suppose, but, you'll end up getting corrosion. You'll end up getting other things going on in there, and you just want to make sure that you're taking care of everything properly. So I can hook up 3 different circuits or items on this. I've got one for the negative. This is the negative, and then I've got a corresponding one here for the positive. Of course, it's got a red handle. Negative's got the black handle. Keeps it real simple. I'm using some relays here, okay? These are 30/40 amp relays, and they come with the pigtails on them already. I've got them marked, what terminal these things are powering or enabling, or where your power in, where your power out is. And they should do a really nice job. They're waterproof. They're sealed up really good. They seem to be a pretty decent one. It's called by Ronnie Buy is the name of the company that I bought this from. I should look and see if it was made in America or China. I try to find anything I can from that is made in America. I've got some of these also that I have in my Camaro on my fans. Now, when you're talking about LED lights like this skull, the LEDs draw next to nothing. I mean, I watch people put these things together in their fuse and relay box, and they, on every single circuit, they're running a relay. Now, this light, like the smaller lights, the skull, the halo, the things like that, they draw like, maybe 0.5 amps. A lot of them draw like 0.1 amp. They're really, really not a heavy draw on anything. Now I'm going to test this whole thing out right here at home in my shop, and you'll see it working in one of the following videos. But I'm not going to overdo it. One of the things that makes this job a little bit difficult is that Bryce and his car are in Mesa, Arizona, and I'm in Brighton, Michigan. Okay, we're 2,000 miles away. So it's kind of hard for me to go and just check his car out. I've asked Bryce, and he always sends me these great pictures and scans of his car. But it's still hard to say, okay, I've got a spot that's 8 inches by 6 inches where I can put this panel. I don't have that capability to get that detailed with it. I think we've got everything covered really well. I mean, Bryce sends me measurements, he sends me pictures, he sends me everything, which makes it a lot easier. But I'm operating kind of flying blind a little bit in some aspect. I still need to get a picture of his fuse panel for that. I just want to use it as a reference. Maybe I'll power it from there. Oh, another thing that I've got for it is a new ignition switch. Okay, so this ignition switch is a 4-post ignition switch. So I can enable the power to this with the key. Okay, I don't really want to have anything hot all the time. So unless it's on accessory or he turns it on, it's not going to provide power to the system, which I prefer. Got some inline fuses that we'll be using on the lines that are running from the relays. 6 different colors. That's for Oli. 6 different colors, Oli. And That way they're not all red, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's a little joke with us all and Oli. But multimeter here, it's not going to be seen on the camera, but I've got a power supply over here that I tie into my multimeter, make sure I'm getting good voltage, the amount of voltage I want to see for this particular application. And I'm trying to do all that and be real careful with everything. Another thing I'm using is this terminal strip, I'll call it, or terminal block. So I'll run from the relays, okay, and then from the fuse box, okay, all my wires, and the headlight ones, the main two circuits are going to go through the relay. Everything else will go in a loom up to where the headlights will be powered from, and I'm going to have this switch set up. Okay, so I'll be able to run the light switch from to the headlights. I'll have one set up for the tail lights if Bryce wants to use that, or he can just tie right into the switch so he doesn't have to go through everything. However, he's got it set up now. I don't know if it's on a fuse. I would imagine so. We'll take a look at all that. But everything will be tied into here, and so this will be a source of power out close to the lights, and we'll set it up like that. So we got that. Is there anything else I'm not showing you here? I got a ton of connectors. I mean, I do a lot of wiring. I just finished up, almost finished up, the generator project I was doing, but I tried to get some good, high quality, see if we can get that, connectors. You'll see me doing some soldering on some of these, some crimping here and there as well. Just depends on what it is that we're doing on, and what's the best thing. I've got these other switches. Trust me, I got them. Oh, my camera's sitting on the box. I'm not going to mess with that right now. But they will make, let's say there's a place where Bryce has got to run some wires through a small area or whatever, and it's just too much trouble. I've got these click-on little connectors. I don't want to use them, but I'm going to send some to Bryce when he gets this in case he has to cut a wire. It'll just make it so much easier to make that new connection. So I'm going to do that. So this is going to be coming up. You'll be seeing another video real soon with us well along here. But it's all about electrical, automotive electrical applications. I'm not an expert. I'm not an electrician. I'm just a person like I am with welding. I'm a person who does electrical on my projects, okay? I do welding on my projects. I am not a professional welder. So take this all with a grain of salt. I just want you to kind of see what we're doing here. Like I said, Bryce and I are collaborating on this. We've been collaborating a lot on the design, and then when I ship it out to Bryce, then we'll see his end of the deal where he goes ahead and installs the lights and hooks everything up and gets things rolling. So anyways, that's what this is all about. I'm going to cut this video off right here because it's a little bit long, but you'll be seeing the real work coming up soon. Thanks, everybody. If you like seeing this type of application being done and it's interesting to you, or if you get something out of it, please like the video and subscribe. It's a really big help. Every YouTuber knows that, and so we all appreciate it when you do that. Thank you.